1 o'clock on Thursday, which means it is time for a video tutorial. I'm just going to do a quick refresh over here off screen left to see if I am transmitilating. Seems like I ought to be, but one never knows about how things are going to work when it comes time for the internet to work. Okay, here we go. It looks like I'm live, but something isn't so good. Let me see if I can fix this. I don't know, it's not looking so great, is it? Hey Bree, how are you? Just gonna straighten up my camera. Everything looks like straighter on the camera than it does on my computer, so maybe that's better. There, that looks more better. Okay, great. Hey Victoria, appreciate you joining. All right, so at our retreat last week, hey Susan, one of my friends, Susan Stanley, gave us this really cute card slash project. Hey Shelly, hi Marva, hi Barbara, Karen, appreciate you joining. Gave us a very cute project, and it looks like this. It's a 3D project, but it is also one of my very favorite things. Hi Danette. It's an easel. But wait, there is more. Okay, this is perfect for Christmas, so I want you to be really looking tomorrow. You'll get all the directions tomorrow, including this video again, and all of the card cuts and everything. Hey Faith, hi Gloria. Hello Karen, you might recognize this project. But what is the bestest piece of this is as we head into gift giving season, and we all know that chocolate is a great gift, right? Look at the size of a candy bar. Oh, and it comes with a dimensional. It did not come like this at the store, just so you know. You have to pay extra for dimensional covers. This, I want some props from the people who were at the retreat and saw the amount of food I put away that I have not yet touched this candy bar. Okay, so I get some kind of credit for that. But it's not long for this world. I'm just throwing that out there. But this little box will hold this, or it would hold some cookies, or it would hold almost anything you wanted to do, okay? I personally like it for a chocolate bar thing. So I have made this approximately 1.5 times, which means we're gonna see if I can recreate it, make the second 2.5 times for you on this video. So I'm going to set this aside. Now I have a couple of templates that I made for you, and they'll be on tomorrow. Okay, so the first off, you'll see this one, which has the directions printed on it. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 9 7/8 by 9 1/8. What that should tell you right now is that you need 12 by 12 cardstock. Okay, so especially as we head into this season, when you're making boxes and gifts and things like that, I recommend that you stock up on some 12 by 12 cardstock in the colors that you like to use for Christmas. I am a fan of crumb cake, so I have the neutrals 12 by 12, and I have several of those, all right? So there's quite a bit of scoring. None of it is hard, but there's quite a bit, and I'll have these for you tomorrow. Then you'll see, once you cut out all of these little parts right here, so we're going to make some tabs, When you get done, the box itself is going to look like this, and then we're going to put it together, okay? Now, true confessions. When I made this at the retreat, the very, very first thing I did was decorate the bottom as the top, and the top as the bottom. And that meant I put my easel in the wrong spot. Your easel is going to want to go in this top portion that has the flap, which means that makes this piece the bottom of the box. I'm going to keep saying card. Just know I mean box, okay? So in your brain, when I say card, translate to box. So what I've done here is I have actually marked it so that I can remember that. Which means you have that. I did that for two reasons. You can actually decorate this in two ways. You can put the whole box together and then adhere all of the panels that you're going to want, or you can figure it out, do the brain work ahead of time, and mark like this so that you decorate the top the way it's supposed to be, and then you will be able to put it together correctly, okay? Because correct is way better than not correct. Just throwing that out there. All right, so I'm going to use my template to help me so I don't mess this up. And we're going to start with our scoreboard. Voila, a scoreboard right here, which has decided to open its little concealed compartment. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 9 7/8 length across the top, like so, of my piece of crumb cake cardstock. Okay, so there we go. And then I'll use my stylus, and I am going to score at 4 1/8, 4 3/4, 8 7/8, and 9 1/2. Now, the original box that I had is, it didn't have enough room on, this is our adhesive section right here, this little flap right here. This is where we're going to put adhesive. You can use liquid glue, which is certainly acceptable, or you can use, yeah, it's perfect timing, right? Or you can use tear and tape. All right, so each of them gives you a different advantage. The tear and tape is incredibly strong. So is liquid glue, but you have to hold it a little longer. The advantage to using the liquid glue is it gives you a little wiggle room. You know, once you stick it on tear and tape, done. All right, so it's up to you. But with this is a little modified measurement from the one that we did last weekend. And with this measurement, this is wide enough, certainly, to put a piece of tear and tape adhesive. Okay? So there you go. So we've made our first 4 score lines, like so. Now I'm just going to rotate 90 degrees and make 2 more score lines, as you can see here. Okay? So the first one is going to be at 1/2 inch. Remember, when you're using your stylus on your scoreboard, if you're using cardstock, recommend using the larger. I always use the large one because I tend to be a little heavy-handed. If you have a little weaker hand or a little lighter touch, you can use this narrow one for cardstock. Always use the big one if you're cutting or if you're scoring DSP. All right, so my first score line is at 1/2 inch. My second score line is at 1 1/8 inch. And then my final score is at 8 1/2. Okay? So when you make this for the first couple of times, I highly recommend that you print out the picture that you'll get of the template and follow it along, okay? Because it's a bit of a brain exercise, just making sure you know which way is which way and what to cut and what not to cut. But once you kind of get it, and with the template, you'll be fine, I promise. So I am going to align this so that everything is the same. So there we go, like so. So now I've put X's in the parts that you're going to cut out, and then I've made these little dotty dot lines to show tabs. Whenever you're making a tab for a folding box, I recommend that you make a little angled cut so that you take a little bit of cardstock out. It just makes it tidier and a little less thick. Okay? Thanks, Joy. I appreciate it, and I hope you will enjoy it and try it. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is get it in the right spot here. So we're going to cut, oh goodness gracious. Here, how about if I turn it this way? Golly Moses. We're going to cut this section out right here, okay? So I'm just going to use my paper snips for that. And you do kind of want to be as straight as you can. Now I'm just going to tell you there's about a 78% chance I'll bork this today, okay? In theory, I would have made like 12 of these to start with, but I didn't. So, you know, you're going to just have to cope with what I give you. If I make a mistake, we'll have to go on with it. So I cut that piece out. And then I'm going to cut this section. Can you see this? So these little 3 square things I'm going to cut out. Like so. And then I'm going to cut this little bit off. And then I'm going to angle this, just like I just said. Okay? So there's tab number 1. Easy and also peasy. All right. Now I'm going to cut right here. Cut this little tab piece off. And make a little and a little like so. Okay. Then we'll turn it around. And here I'm going to leave this piece and this piece on, because this is the end of your box. And then I'm going to cut a little bitty triangle out, and a little bitty triangle out. There's no right or wrong on the itty bittiness of your triangle. Just saying. Okay? All right. Now, finally, we're down to the last little bit, so we still have a chance of me not messing this up. I'm going to cut this out. And then I'm going to make a little snip here and make my little triangle doohickey cuts. Okay? There we go. So there is our template, and it almost completely matches this one. So we're cooking with gas so far, folks. We are cooking with gas. All right, let me get rid of these thingies so that we can all pretend to ourselves that I'm a tidy stamper. All right, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to help myself out. I'm going to put this like this, and I know this is the top of the box, so I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to write top of box. There, just like that. That will help me, I promise. And then I'm going to burnish and fold some edges with my bone folder to help me out. All right. And you'll be glad to know that I've done much of the gluing of all of the decorations ahead of time, so you will not have to sit here and watch me dry cement. Hi, Penny. Hi, Joy. Appreciate you. Okay, so we've got that. Now we'll go ahead and fold here as well. Can you see the box starting to come together? And you know, I don't know why you wouldn't put food in this, but you wouldn't have to. This would be fun with a piece of, like a necklace or a pretty hanky or whatever, something little and light. You could slide it in here very easily. Okay, now, what's fixing to happen is I'm going to go ahead and make the box, okay? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my panels and pieces. So I used the Heartwarming Hugs, and I've used Garden Green for the matting. And you know I like to mat, so I'm always going to mat. I'm pretty much always going to mat, okay? Now, on the top of my box, this is not the top of my box, this is my easel. The box is always going to have this, and on the bottom I'm going to put this one, okay? Because I thought that would be cool, because when it's closed like this, that means the top and the bottom match. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. I will tell you, it takes a little bit of DSP. Takes a little bit of DSP and a little bit of cardstock. But if you've got a DSP that you have plenty and lots of, it's a great way to use it and make it be all happy. All right, so let me go ahead and start adhering this to my card. And you can, like I said, you can do it any way that you want. You can put it together and then put your pieces on, or you can do like I'm doing, okay? Like that. Now, the last one I did, I put the pieces on after I had put the box together, so this is going to be a departure. We'll see if I can do it. All right, you'll notice I have long sleeves on today. Apparently fall has hit, which is awesome because I do love fall, but of course I've spent 3 months being too hot and now I'm cold. So it is what it is, but it's gorgeous outside. We have all of the windows and it looks like a plastic picnic knife. Well, you know what? This actually came in an old scoreboard. And I just kept it because I really like it. But it does kind of look like, or like something you'd get on an airplane now with a piece of steak, right? Because that's what they would give you. All right. So I've also made some pieces to go on my ends, but I'm going to do those after I put it together just so that I don't put them in the wrong spot. Just throwing that out there because I could, in fact, put them in the wrong spot. So let's go ahead and I'm going to use tear and tape so that you can see how that works. Alrighty, and I'm going to put the tear and tape along this edge on the outside, like so. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to fold this down like this, and then I'm going to bring this over the top, and I'm going to lay it down with those edges lined up, okay? That's what I'm going to do. By golly, that is what I am going to do, and it's going to work. Only 45. Whoo, turned on that. I'll bet you did, Claudia. I would be too. 45 wouldn't be enough to just have my hoodie on by any stretch. Okay, so we're going to, you got to be careful when you use the tear and tape. Why? Because as soon as you put it down, it's kind of there. I mean, you can mess with it a little bit, but not a whole bunch. Okay, so you're just lining those two edges up, just like that, and give it a push, and then boom, bada bang. Okay, now the bottom, we're going to fold this down, and I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue to close it just like that. And I know that the top is here, so I'm going to tuck the other flap in so that the top is clean. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's go ahead and use liquid glue here. 97 today, but then all the way down to the 80s, huh? Yeah, steak on a plane. That was from one time when they upgraded me. You know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, if you checked into an airplane and you used your military ID as your ID form, they would sometimes would upgrade you to first class just as like a little thank you. If them days be gone, I'm just throwing that out there. They are gone for good. All right, so I'm just gonna hook that down like so and give it a little press until it works. If you have a straight edge, you can reach through and give it a little push like that. Obviously, if you use tear and tape, you probably don't need to do that, but I like the liquid glue here so that it lets me straighten everything out. Okay, and so now you can kind of see how things are going. This is our other end, and this is the end we're going to leave open so that you can slide your gift in, because although this is cool, it's not the gift. The gift is actually the food or whatever cool thing is inside. So now let's use a little liquid glue. Oh no. Grand Island, Louisiana evacuee. Still no water, gas, or electric, but enjoying the amenities 2 hours away from home. Wow, I'm glad you found a spot, kiddo. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I am very sorry that your home is still... I fear it's going to be that way for a minute, yeah? And thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you like this. I can take no credit for the design of the box because Susan Stanley brought it to our retreat and we made it, but I thought it would be fun decorated for Christmas. All right, so I have just matted some little strips of the same DSP on Garden Green. Now, you don't have to use mats if you don't want to, but I will say this about that. First off, I'm a matte person. I like things to be matted. I think it makes it look much tidier and neater. But it also gives your box a little extra oomph, okay? So that if you have a really heavy candy bar, then it will not be weak, all right? Well, you know what, Faith? I just cannot disagree with that, except that I'm sure there's people who don't think that. But thank you. All right, and we're going to put this in here. I love that this can become for anything. It could be a birthday card. I mean, it kind of is a card, right? Because you have a greeting on it. Or it could be Christmas, or it could be an anniversary, whatever. All right, so for this final one, just be sure that you put the strip on the correct portion. You could actually close the box if you wanted to. I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to take a risk. And now I'm going to use the excuse of letting that dry for a sec while I grab something to drink before I have a coughing fit. Thanks, Joy. Okay, phew. So, Joy, where are you in North Kakalaki? All right, so here we go. All right, so the next piece, obviously, is we need, this is the card, see what I'm saying? This is the box. You are pretty much done with the box, and now it's time we're going to put the easel on, and then we're going to decorate, and that's really kind of the extent of it. So the easel, just use the same color cardstock that you used for the box base. It's 4 inches by 8 inches. And you're going to see, if I was a really good demonstrator, I would have done this before I put my board away, but I didn't, so I can't. I have to say I have to do it now. So put the 8-inch length across the top and score at 3 5/8, and again at 7 3/8. And then put your scoreboard away for the second time. Greensboro. We have property in the Columbus Tryon-Landrum triangle over there. Okay, so this is kind of cool how this works. This is our easel. This flap right here is going to slide in there and adhere, and then it's going to fold over the top. So we're going to fold this direction, and then this, which is our easel, goes the other direction, like that. Okay? This was where I borked up. I somehow or another managed to get it to where I had the easel wanted to be, it was weird. It was just bizarro. I had it backwards. Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I'm just saying it wasn't good at all. And so don't be like me. Be like this. Okay, now the next trick here is being sure that you put the glue on the right side. So this is how it wants to go, which means the glue needs to be on this side. Don't get too carried away. All right? Because you don't want that glue going every which way. And then you can just slide it in like so until the two little scores come together, and then give it a burnish with your fingers underneath. And by burnish, I mean squeeze them together. Okay? There you go. See, you got all sorts of folks over there in North Kakalaki. All right. Now, this is our easel. So there we go. That's how that's going to be. Okay? Now, very easy. I'm going to set this aside for just a second, and I'm going to decorate the card front, box front. Okay? And you'll notice it is the same size as the easel. It's sized for the easel itself, like that. And you can actually put this on right now because it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to go ahead and decorate it with it flat. So let's go ahead and do that. You're only going to put glue on this bottom section. That makes sense, right? Because you want it to pop up. And you can put your glue like that. Do make sure you put it far enough to the inside to clear your, how we doing on time, guys? Done. I don't know what that's doing. Okay, we're doing good. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to line this up. This is the same kind of margins that I use on a card. Okay. So if you make the margins look like it was on a card, you'll be good to go. And you can pick it up and give it a nice little rub. And we're on our way, right? Okay. Now, before you joined, I did a little cutting. Let me show you what I did, okay? I cut one of each of these shapes, the bell, the ornament, and the star, from a piece of crumb cake. That's the solid piece. And then I ran this whole thing back through. And to cut these out, y'all, you're going to put this down. So I used this on the white. I put this down, and then you put the detailed die in the center. And you can just run it right through, and out pops, well, frosting. Or icing, depending on how you like to consider it. Actually, really, technically, it's icing. Now, if you have it, you can absolutely put your white cardstock on an adhesive sheet and run it through, and then you can peel the backing off and put your icing onto your cookies. I did not have any adhesive sheets, and so I just used liquid glue. Not difficult, just don't use a lot, okay? So that's all I did there, was I just cut the whites out and adhered them to the cookies. And then I also stamped the "You're the icing to my gingerbread" sentiment from Frosted Gingerbread in garden green on basic white and cut it with Tasteful Labels. Can I just say this? If you do not have the Tasteful Labels die set, go ahead and just get it right now. It is $152,886. You will love it. It is a go-to set with all sorts of sentiment labels. So I cut that with this, or this with that, or whatever you want to say. And that is going to be down here on the front. Then I took from the Gingerbread and Peppermints Memories and More, I took a cooling rack. You can tell that's a cooling rack, right? And I'm going to adhere that with some liquid glue. You know, I do like the Stampin' Seal, but I just have to say, still and all, even with as much as I like it, if I was stranded on a desert island, liquid glue is still the way to go. Because this right here would be really hard to do. Now, if I was stranded on a desert island without any of my stuff, I'm not really sure how I would have a cooling rack die already ready for me like I do now, but I would, okay? I just would, and I wouldn't be able to adhere it very good with Stampin' Seal. So liquid glue would be the way to go. This is one of the cool die cuts in the Memories and More card pack, in the Gingerbread and Peppermints Memories and More card pack, and I really, really like it a lot. You get black and you get silver also. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys have? Black or silver? See, I used the silver on the sample, and I'm using black here. What do you guys have? Black or silver cooling racks? I have black right now. I have a set of Pampered Chef from 100 years ago. They stack up, and at Christmas time, I tend to have them all going all at once. Okay, so I've got that adhered with some liquid glue, and now I'm going to pop these, because cookies would be dimensional, right? Totally. I'm going to pop these on with some, well, dimensionals. It's weird, it's like in the name and stuff. Okay, so we'll pop these on with dimensionales. You got oh, you got both, Marva. Ooh. We got some votes for silver and we got some votes for black. I like that the Stampin' Up! Ones are narrow enough that I can slide them in my dishwasher. I don't even have to hand wash them. Because that's just how I roll. Lazy. I'm kind of lazy. Just saying. Let's see. Let's put those on like that. I think we'll put that on like those. Like these. There we go. Okay. So we'll pull off these dimensionales. And pop those over. Pampered Chef Black Cookie Rice. See how great, aren't they great? I love them. I love that you can stack them up on top of each other. That's really nice. It really saves space on the counter. I mean, I use them like approximately, well, I use some of them a lot, but in the Christmas time, when it's time to make cookies and whatnot, I have them all going and stacked up, baby. Stacked up, I say. All right, we're gonna put that right there like that. Okay, now look. Now look, now look, now look. I'm going to take one of these little spatulas. Oh, wait, I guess I should actually adhere my sentiment. I was getting a little ahead of myself, just saying. Okay, we're going to adhere this sentiment with a little liquid glue. Just leave the cookies on the pan long enough they're cool, and we eat them right from there. Good point. That is an excellent point. I try very hard not to eat them all right off of the rack. But, you know, sometimes it's for gifts and stuff, so you have to keep them at least a little bit. All right. Oh, you know what I was thinking is I decorated these with gingerbread, but with the same set, you could do a peppermint theme. And I'm pretty certain you could get one of these bars like this in white chocolate and peppermint bark. Wouldn't that be cool? You could then use the sending you peppermint kisses as your sentiment. Yeah, and then it would be the peppermint bark. See where I'm going there? Like a theme and stuff. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this little spatula doohickey and I'm going to push its little chad out of the way. It's got a little chad going on there. Now, this is a sticker, and I don't really care if it's a sticker. Shoot fire. I should have popped that on dimensionals like I meant to. Let me see if it'll come. It won't, so it's going to be fine. So I'm going to use this as a sticker because, okay, look. I was busy yakking. On the sample, I popped this sentiment on with dimensionals. You can do that if you want. And so with this one, I had to put a little bitty dimensional there and a little bitty dimensional under there. So that's what you'd want to do if you popped it up. If you don't, you can just use it as a sticker and stick it right on there like that. Okay? Like so. Now, the next piece is I'm going to use this Merriest Christmas, And this is going to be your easel stop. And it does need to be up on dimensionals. So don't mess up and not put it on dimensionals like I was thinking about doing. So if you've got a sticker that you don't want to be a sticker, you can do it on your hand like this, or you can do it on your hoodie. And that just really kind of does in the stickiness. You can also use an embossing buddy if you've still got one of those. But just something that takes that stickiness away so that it doesn't push down in a way that you do not want to. And then you can put your dimensionals on like this. And we need one more. Una más. Una más. All right. There we go. Now, take your covers off. And then when you get ready to put them on, put it on. I hold it with my tweezers because that's just how I roll. And then what I would do is pull your easel up to where you want it to be and then stick your easel stop in place like that. Okay? Just like that. All right? Now look, here's the thing. Here's the dealio. Because I'm really persnickety about stuff and kind of a goofball, I don't like it that when my easel is up, that is showing. So look what I'm gonna do. I happen to have a pre-matted piece of DSP, which obviously, perhaps you're figuring out that I screwed up and I meant to adhere that. Don't be like me, adhere this before you put your easel on, okay? I mean, you can do it obviously, but it's a whole lot easier if you do it ahead of time. Just saying. I'm just throwing it out there, okay? And so I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. I just think it finishes it off a little bit. But again, that's just me. And I do try to line up the mats. All right. And there we go. And that, as they say in some industry somewhere, is that. Now you have this cute little easel decorated on the back, decorated on the front, and filled with food. Filled with food. Yum. I'll slide that in there and let you guys pretend and think like I'm not going to go eat that. I'm really not. I'm going to give it to my husband. I'm really going to give it to my husband. But see, what I was thinking is that these would be cool stocking stuffers. Wouldn't these be great as stocking stuffers? Get in there now. I think they would be, because you just slide them in just like this. Come on now. There, we'll just do a little snippy more there. I didn't get quite enough snippy on that one. I'm going to get a little snippy with the snippy if the snipper doesn't work. Okay, there we go. There we have it. But see, you could just slide that right in a stocking. It would be perfect. And so they open it up and they're like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's so cute. Look how they decorated even the back. And then they're like, oh, this flap opens. What's in there? Oh, food, candy, yay! So it's the perfect way. It's the perfect candy delivery system. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will make a... Amy, yours may have already disappeared. Darn Lance anyway. I'm sure he's ate it. Darn him. I hope you'll make some of these for Christmas time and for birthdays and for Halloween and for anniversaries and for St. Patrick's Day and for Labor Day and Memorial Day. Okay? Make these. Maybe not Memorial Day with gingerbread cookies, but whatever. All right, y'all. I hope I'll see you on Saturday. Guys, there is like only a week left in Celebration. Okay? Just throwing that out there. Only a week left to get free goodies when you place an order, and only a week left to take advantage of the most amazing starter kit opportunity that we're going to have all year. All right? So, see you on Saturday. Thanks, guys. Ta.